It's just basically you're taking 9, multiplying 21 times 9, 111 times 5 divided by 14. Okay. So that's where we get the scratch numbers. They're just right there. All right. You don't need to put these numbers in your paper. You can just say, we take these, multiply them times the sales mix, and you get 181.7, something like that. It's probably good. Talk about the sales price and for the different products and the sales dollars, the dollars and the units. So we're trying to really, we're looking at this section right here. Now there's two changes here. The first change is the change in direct material cost. What you want to do is you want to contrast the variable cost here with the variable cost up here. So what's happened to it because of the direct materials increase? And so it affects the contribution margin, and it affects the weighted average contribution margin. So if the contribution margin goes down, what are you going to have to do to maintain break even? Now, don't worry about this 450 right now. So if the contribution margin goes down, what are you going to have to do to maintain break even? Because we still have to cover $400,000 of fixed costs. Okay, so that's the first step. And I would do that in one paragraph. And we'll go back to the slide which shows you as well. And then the second step is you want to talk about the fixed costs. So you've got 400,000 after you fix the contribution margin dollars because the weighted average contribution margin goes down. You have $400,000 in fixed costs in contribution margin and $400,000 in fixed costs, which has just been raised to 450. So we're no longer break even. So what do we have to do to get our total contribution margin dollars back up to 450? It's a very simple response, and it has nothing to do with contribution margin. Okay. So and then the last paragraph, you just need to talk about the break even. This 3249 includes both changes, both the 10% direct materials change and a $50,000 increase. Now, bear in mind, the graders want you to talk about these two changes separately. So I strongly suggest that you put them into two different paragraphs. And then talk about the change in the break-even sales units before the change and after the change in a third paragraph, just to sort of summarize. I think you'll have better results that way. Okay. So if you look at the slide, talk about the change in variable cost and contribution by margin. Talk about the weighted average contribution margin change. Use the numbers from the spreadsheet, or liberally use the numbers from the spreadsheet, and talk about what the effects of break even. What do you have to do to get back to break even after the 10% increase in material costs? And then you talk about the fixed costs going from 400,000 to cover 450. What are you going to do to get the contribution margin up to 450? And then summarized by the break-even sales mix. And that is task 4. Some tips, use spreadsheet numbers wherever you can. Graders like to see the spreadsheet numbers. Count your answers in cost, volume, profit terms. Okay, revenue per unit, variable cost per unit, contribution margin per unit. Remember, you're showing the grader that you have a competency in understanding what cost, volume, profit is. And we don't have to worry about the sales mix anymore. We used to have a number of spreadsheets. Earlier versions of the spreadsheets had the sales mix at high levels, 250 and 150, I think it was. Is that what it was? Anyway, they were higher. And we took it down to the least common denominator, which is 9 and 5, which is 14. Out of every 14 bikes, 9 were titanium, 4 were carbon, 5 were carbon.